Assalamu alaikum gambe dingol kaltan to kala jey back dismalin coast of West Africa bi mi be kerin namol anya jubalen ko madam nyilam lare siseti anin Dr. Lamin Mane ñun le fintana idi bo idiamuta auditor report la min tamata auditor report kono ko do min kasarta je akasarta nyadire ani ye auditor general ye min bondi ya bondi nyadile fanin silo tara bang fanin silo manta ye min appoint sayendeng fanin silo tara bang fanin silo manta ni kuma jama bakar kacade bar jannin bitawar kafal yanko Gambia Kibaaro Network jannin dinkira mi yanko ni Kibaaro soro akende ma senema jankuri jande ma doronum al subscribe al comment al ya like ala barka bag al ben fi wato be be kerin namol la resise UDP ko la matide ake UDP le fasa anin Dr. Lamin Mane nyimol be mo UDP kadi ngola bari to le finena ye auditor report ya be analyze ya be faram fanca akere nyaadi a be nyaadi le kudo dunta nyaadi a finde nyaadi le yolo kacade andum i continue fana auditor general ya bonni nyame i kani loi mantade ye auditor general kutama yemin appoint i ko fani loi mantade e nyinni kuma jama bal fo bal man dinkol ko tokolo ko dia wala fonda kono angal mo la resisa anin Dr. Lamin Mane yemin fo auditor report la kodo anin auditor general ka appoint anin ka bondi police ol yemin kije akere nyaadi le ya be jabak so woto ala barak angata.
As I said, the audit reports 2021, 2022, 2023. We all are aware that the Auditor General was unceremoniously removed by police. We are also aware that, and the lawyers say that's unconstitutional. We are also aware that a new Auditor General has been appointed. And the lawyers say his appointment is also unconstitutional. The push and pull between the outgoing Auditor General and the government was in relation to, allegedly was in relation to these audit reports. And lo and behold, you remove him in the same week or week and a half, you issue these audit reports. So what we have could very well be doctored audit reports. Doctored audit reports in the sense that the level and the extent of pilferage, maladministration is astounding. And I will just run the figures for you. That's why I say I need a few more minutes to run this thing. In 2023, $6.1 billion cannot be accounted for, according to the audit report for 2023. $6.1 billion. There is $55.8 billion on cleared balances since 2019. $55.8 billion on cleared balances since 2019. 65 million is missing in 2021. 136 million is missing in 2022. Add 136 million, 65 million, and the 6 billion that is missing in 2023, and you have something like 10 billion.
No, more than that.
It's more than that.
55?
55 billion is around 100 billion, I meant to say. So that is those are the leakages for those years. And then the Auditor General says 64 million was paid for 58,500 bags of rice, and only 17,000 of that 58,000 was delivered.
Where is the rest?
The rest, 41,404 bags, just vanished into thin air.
Just like
into thin bank accounts.
like
Yes.
the Japanese
Right.
it's,
No, this is something they paid for. The
no, I'm
Japanese
just
one-
saying.
yeah, like the Japanese one. Yeah.
Something disappeared.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of magicians in this
Yeah.
government.
And then in 2024 alone, there is $7 billion in duty waivers. 2020.
7 billion.
7 billion in duty waivers.
Including 4 billion
Yeah.
at the Ports
At
Authority.
the Port Authority. 4 billion at the Port Authority.
Which year was this?
2024.
24.
Wow.
Now, in those duty waivers, what stood out in the audit report is that 28.9 million was described by the audit report as unlawful waivers to Jar Oil.
Jar Oil
Jar
again?
Oil again.
Jar Oil could be not Sierra Sierra.
Jar Oil again. This is what the auditors have reported. And they actually
But
instructed...
his activity is not impacting the economy. That's what I don't understand. They
It
say
is
that
impacting the economy.
No, what I mean in a positive way, where prices will come down, because that's what they always claim. That we are doing this so that you can do that, so that prices can come down, or we are doing, but it's not the same. It's not happening.
You see, the economics of it is simple.
Sure.
Subsidies do not necessarily bring down prices.
In fact, that's why the IMF.
So you are just giving this man 28 million free.
You know,
It doesn't mean that he's going to plow that back to make life easy for you and I.
It's going to increase his profit margins.
Yes.
of course,
Yeah.
of course, of course.
Now, get this.
But
In-
before you just want to not only increase his profit margin, but it allows him also to squeeze some people out of the market.
Yes,
Yeah.
you create a monopoly
Yes,
situation
exactly.
for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, 2022, the opening balance was 74.1 million. That was what was reported. Opening balance for the government's account, 74.1 million. But the audit report is saying this could very well have been misstated. It's much more than that. Yeah. Now, again, they flagged another one to say the discrepancy between the cash balance and year-end cash balance. The discrepancy between the cash balance and year-end cash balance is 6.1 billion Gambian dollars. And they are saying it could be much more than that also, that this is understating that cash discrepancy.
Yeah.
On cleared transit accounts of $1.6 billion and $1.646 billion from 2029 to 2023, meaning
2019.
each one of those years, it's either 1.6 billion. They like 1.6 billion, by the way. It's either 1.6 billion
It's an automatic
or 1.646
computer program that makes it
billion.
disappear.
Yeah, I'm
automatically.
seeing 1 billion all over the place. They like this 1 billion.
You know?
So those are the uncleared transit accounts for those years, 2019
Yeah.
to 2023. And guess what? Jammeh, did you guys remember how many bank accounts Jammeh opened?
Yeah, over 20.
Over 20.
Yeah.
The auditors found 187 bank accounts.
When the Jammeh's accounts were closed down
Yeah.
to, I think, 2 or 3,
Yeah,
now you have a proliferation of those accounts.
187 bank accounts.
Yeah.
What?
187 bank
That
accounts.
is what facilitates the pilfering of resources.
Yes.
There must be some money laundering here, you know?
Oh, big time. Now, they identified specifically Ministry of Fisheries.
The one that burnt down everything.
Yeah, fishing trawlers, 6 fishing trawlers were caught
I wonder where they
in
were.
Gambian prohibited fishing areas. And the fine, minimum fine ought to be 16.5 million per trawler. $16.5 million is per trawler. And the vessels were released and no fines were paid. At least
To government.
the auditors cannot trace the
No fines were paid
yeah,
to government.
16.5 million by 6
Yeah,
is what just vanished.
yeah.
A
For the-
total
for the state.
for the state,
Yeah.
yes. A total of 53 million in fines imposed on another 9 fishing vessels, but no payment was deposited in the government consolidated account. So 16 million by 5
Beautiful.
plus 53 million for 9 fishing vessels, all gone. You remember this is the ministry that burned down.
Yeah.
I wonder
It's
where
gone down
the
evidence.
former minister is. So quiet. He's so quiet, you can't hear
It's not
from.
in the Mahali Dahin.
Yes. Now, Fisheries is off the side. These are the ones they flagged. There is more, but these are the major ones. Now, let me summarize what I just said. The summary is about 70 to 100 billion dollars was lost to corruption and mismanagement. Between 70 billion to 100 billion is lost to corruption and mismanagement. And this is devastating to the economy. To recap, 7 billion in duty waivers, 10 billion losses in irregularities. They describe the irregularities differently, depending on which government institution they are talking about. But all in all, 10 billion is lost to those irregularities. 7 billion duty waivers, 6.1 billion missing in 2023, 136 million missing in 2022, 65 million missing in 2021, 55 billion in uncleared balances, 64 million paid to for 58,000 bags of sand. So that's the summary and overview. It's not exhaustive.
Yeah.
This is just an overview. But what is interesting, what the auditors found very interesting and compelling, is that GRA refused to give them access to their Asikuda system. So they could not audit GRA. And for me, this is very interesting because I keep saying GRA is the elephant in the room. This is the government's premier resource mobilization institution. Yeah. They allegedly mobilize roughly $12 billion a year in revenues. If the auditors cannot audit that system, something is fundamentally wrong. And it raises two questions. Is the GRA above the law? What is GRA hiding? This Asikuda system they are talking about, Lamino and Lamin. Mm-hmm. I started this when I was at the local UNDP office here. We trained some Gambians. But one gentleman, Babukar Mbai, who was a very senior officer in the GRA, Sirfo Jobate, and seven others. We established the Asikuda. It's a joint project between UNDP and UNCTAD. It was set up. It's meant to capture revenues. And it's meant to minimize the level of leakages that those revenues could be subjected to. Now, if you refuse access to them, to the auditors, that means you are hiding something. And by the way, this Asikuda system...
It's not even legal.
No, it's not. That's why I asked that question. Yeah. Is the GRA above the law?
Yeah.
They are not.
Yeah.
What are they hiding? Obviously something. And I dare say on air that the day GRA is audited, their leakages will be in the tens of billions of dollars because of the share turnover that they have. Now, to sum it up, and then we can have Lamin and...
I want this thing in the local language.
Yeah.
It's extremely
to sum this up, what these audit reports show is what we've been saying all along. Barrow's corruption will make Jammeh's corruption look like child's play.
Yeah.
With 187 bank accounts compared to 20.
Two, it is official documentary evidence that corruption is entrenched and it is systemic. And what is required to deal with this maladministration and corruption? It's decisive leadership. Do we have a decisive leader?
By all accounts, no.
By all accounts, no. So you cannot be a passive leader, and with all this corruption happening, with your family members involved in it up to their eyebrows, and then you just brush them aside. So in order for the country to be moved out of this malaise that we are in, we need decisive leadership. And only UDP and Hussein Dabo can provide that. Accountability, you see, when we say accountability, we are not saying you go after people to maltreat them. This is a clear case of lack of accountability and transparency on the part of government. And nothing is going to come out of it because they don't have a history of dealing with corruption. I will close by saying the Minister of Finance went to the National Assembly. As always, he used two key buzzwords. Two key buzzwords. Well, this shows that the government is transparent. This shows that the government is accountable. You know what I have said after I read this and I saw the minister's performance in the National Assembly? I said, this is sad. Gambia is really sad. You have a minister who has a legacy like this, because all of this happened between him and his predecessor, Sidi Keita and Mambure Njai.
Yeah.
This is their legacies. But he stands there and tells us...
Under Barrow's watch.
Yeah. He stands there and tells us, but we are transparent and accountable because we release the reports.
No, it's trying to show that for them they are not bothered.
Yeah.
They don't care.
And so I'm
being
saying...
bold enough to say, look, we
Yeah.
don't care. We'll give you the figures here, there, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's not being transparent.
No, he's just dancing around the issue. But he's also talking to a very weak group of people who do not take him to task on these issues. So he can come and give that kind of performance and moves. Conclude this thing with, we have established 3 years ago that the hallmark of the Barrow administration is incompetence.
Corruption.
No, incompetence, indifference, corruption and impunity, and identity politics. Now, you can add a few, based on what these audit reports have shown, you can add the issue of broken promises. Barrow says he will deal with corruption effectively. He hasn't. He has promised Gambians a bunch of things, including 150,000 jobs a year. He hasn't delivered on. He promised to leave after 3 years. He hasn't done it. So those are the broken promises.
He promised to give Brikama free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened. He
Yeah,
promised to have
and Wi-Fi gardens.
water they have gardens.
I don't even talk about those things because I think it's laughable.
On a more serious note, this is the government we have in the country. Or did I interrupt you? Maybe you finished that?
No,
Yeah, okay,
I'm saying the broken promises is an addition to those things. And of course, the police brutality we are beginning to see.
Yes.
Naturally.
What they did to the Gala guys, and then by proxy, what they did to the youths in Mandina Ring and Lamen. It shows a pattern of police brutality that we had talked about under the Mandina Ring issue. Yeah. Corruption and impunity is part of those other four. And then we essentially have a kleptocratic system. This is a kleptocracy.
Yep. Yep.
There is no other description about it. It is kleptocratic and it has captured the state. The kleptocrats have captured the state.
And they are now encircling and protecting that kleptocracy with a plutocracy, which is saying you cannot even run for president unless you have $3 million to start with, plus everything else. So it's the rule of people with money. Everybody is excluded. And who has the money? The ones who steal, who are in that kleptocracy.
The natural progression from a kleptocracy is a plutocracy.
Yeah.
And the minute they pass that law that increased the registration fee at IEC from 1 million to 2 million, and also in the National Assembly, you have the beginnings of a plutocracy.
Yeah.
If you don't have money, you cannot engage in politics. And Gambians who are saying, but this is good, it's a filter. No, this is not a filter. This is denying you a right to participate.
It's a filter for the ordinary Gambian.
Yeah.
A filter to keep the rich in power forever.
Yeah.
And then from the plutocracy, it builds the oligarchy and the dictatorship.
Yep.
Is this what we want for the country? Is this what we want? I think this is what we should be talking about.
This is a classic case of state capture.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have reached a state where the state has been captured by kleptocrats, and those kleptocrats have begun to lay the foundations for a plutocracy. And there is nothing we can do about it. We are sitting it go. You know that 2 million thing, when it passed parliament, only 17 members of parliament were present.
Yeah. They smuggled it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only 17 were present.
Yeah.
Okay.
The issue of selective justice, you know, we have said it before. I have said it, and I know he has said it in different platforms, but mostly on West Coast, that we are all equal under the law. But when we go before the law, are we all equal? And what we are seeing is the selective application of justice in all these cases. So I'll end with that.